As I noted in my last lecture, the 1996 Personal Responsibility Act ushered in a new program of welfare known as Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, or TANF. TANF consists of two parts, the work plan and the family plan. The work plan sets a 5-year lifetime limit on welfare receipt and pushes women off welfare and into paid work. Most of these jobs are minimum wage and don't have benefits. As a poverty reduction strategy, then, the work plan is questionable, but it certainly works to the advantage of employers who now enjoy an ample supply of desperately low-wage workers as a result of welfare reform. In this lecture, I want to look at the family plan. What kind of family values does TANF promote? Is the family plan as problematic as the work plan? Now, in many ways, family is at the heart of the welfare debate. 90% of adult welfare recipients are mothers. Now, in an earlier era, they might have been single mothers because their husbands died or abandoned them. Since the 1960s, they're more likely to be single mothers because they had children outside of marriage. Indeed, out-of-wedlock childbearing and the rise therein has been one of the major forces behind the increase in welfare rolls between 1960 and 1995. Whether through death or abandonment, divorce, or out-of-wedlock childbearing, being a single parent is closely tied to being in poverty. As Sharon Hayes points out on page 129, once you become a single parent, no matter who you are or how you got there, no matter if it's divorce or unwed parenting, your financial resources are stretched, and simultaneously, your ability to make money is diminished by the added pressure of caring for children without the help of a spouse. Now, it's one thing to say that single parenthood is tied to poverty. It's another thing to say that single parenthood causes poverty. Single parenthood has risen in every advanced industrialized country in the world. This pattern suggests that it's not a lack of values that has led to single parenthood. Rather, it's larger structural changes that have led to this revolution in family life. What are these structural changes? Hayes points to two. The decline in men's wages, which has constrained men's ability to be breadwinners, and the rise in women's labor force participation, which has expanded women's choices outside of marriage. These two trends are related. Men's declining wages have pushed more women out into the workforce to supplement men's incomes. But their combined result is to create fewer incentives to marry in the first place and to increase the tensions within marriage. The decline in marriage and the rise in divorce then leads to a rise in single parenting, poverty, and welfare dependency. Poverty in this case can be traced back to structural economic changes that have led to a decline in men's wages, not a lack of family values. Without acknowledging these larger structural forces, TANF seeks to reduce single parenthood and therefore welfare dependency using a rather simple equation. Lack of family values leads to poverty, leads to welfare dependency. But as I pointed out in my lecture on the work plan, fixing these women will do nothing about the root cause of the rise in single parenthood. Indeed, there's nothing to suggest that these women don't want to get married and have children. However misguided, the central focus of the family plan is to strengthen so-called family values. Now, of the two central plans that are part of TANF, the work plan and the family plan, Hayes found that the family plan got the short end of the stick. Most of the focus was on the work plan and on work training and preparation. Even so, as part of the family plan, TANF explicitly seeks to reduce out-of-wedlock childbearing and to promote marriage as a route out of welfare. First, welfare mothers are expected to model good mothering behaviors. They must get their children vaccinated, they must ensure their children's regular school attendance, and they must arrange for adequate child care. Second, these women are expected to control their fertility. Family caps mean that any child born to a woman on welfare will be themselves denied welfare benefits. Congress sets aside $50 million a year to fund abstinence education. Importantly, no money is provided for family planning education or birth control. Rather, women, even adult women, are expected to abstain from sex as a way to control their fertility. As Hayes explains on page 71, the implicit message is that all women without the financial resources, marketable skills, and stamina necessary to raise children alone should be assigned a life of celibacy. Another piece of the family plan is child support enforcement. To be eligible for welfare, women must supply the names of their children's father or fathers so that the state can track them down and collect child support payments. If the state is successful in collecting these payments, and typically it is not, most of the money goes to the state, not the child. This is the only piece of welfare reform that attempts to hold men accountable, but it's women who must supply the names, women who must go to court to collect the child support payments, and women who must suffer the consequences if that man becomes angry that his paltry wages are being taken away by the state. This is problematic to the extent that many of these women are victims of domestic violence and or have strained relationships with their children's father. Indeed, by the government's estimates, anywhere from 15 to 34% of these women are current victims of domestic violence. Ultimately, the family plan is meant to redirect the behavior of poor women to be more in line with middle-class norms. But the plan denies these women an important feature of middle-class family practices, namely, the right to make choices regarding one's fertility and the right to make choices regarding marriage. The values guiding the work plan and the family plan are completely contradictory. The family plan puts forth the idea of family values, which is largely understood to mean that a woman should be a good mother by focusing on the family and by being a stay-at-home mom. Indeed, as a society, we criticize women who put their children in daycare all day so that they can go out and pursue jobs, labeling them bad mothers or worse. So the ideal behind the family plan is the devoted wife and mother who puts family before work. The work plan puts forth the idea of a work ethic, which is largely understood to mean that women should take any jobs that are available to them and stop lazing around the house. And as a society, we accept the notion that being a stay-at-home mom isn't real work after all. Therefore, we leave it unrecognized, unpaid, and unvalued. So the ideal behind the work plan is the working stiff who puts work before family. In many ways, the message of welfare reform is this: there are two paths out of poverty. You either work your butt off at a job that pays minimum wage with no benefits, or you find a man who's willing to support you even if he hits you and can barely pay the bills. Neither one of these is really a route out of poverty, and neither one of these is really a choice.